Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning into my podcast, Xena Life as a Dominatrix. This is episode 75. This will be published on Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. Before I begin discussing today's topic, I just want to mention that on all of my podcast episodes, you will see a link that states support the show today. Once you click on the link, it leads right to my Venmo page. So thank you all very much for tuning in, subscribing, supporting, spreading the word about my little podcast, Xena Life as a Dominatrix, which is found on Buzzsprout, Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, etc. Before I begin discussing today's topic, let's see. I had a birthday a week ago, and I just wanted to thank you all very much for the birthday posts, the birthday texts, the birthday emails, the birthday gifts, the well wishes. It is all greatly appreciated. And just 2 days ago, it was Mother's Day, so I just wanted to wish all the mothers out there a happy, belated Mother's Day. I hope you all enjoyed your day. All right, today's topic is life as a dominatrix. So this is all written in my book, Xena Life as a Dominatrix, which is found on Amazon. Paperback version and Kindle versions are both available. I recall, back in 2013 or 2014, I can't remember who I was speaking to, a friend or somebody, but they suggested for me to hire a ghostwriter. You have so many stories. You should hire a ghostwriter. I said, why in the world would I do that? If I'm going to tell my story, I'm going to tell it from my heart, my soul, my head, and tell it my way. So I started working on this book back in 2015. And I published it in 2020, so it took about 5 years to write. So everybody has a story, and I encourage everybody to write. It's a great way to get yourself out there, or get your feelings out there, or emotions, or whatever story you're telling, whether it's a horror story, a story about your personal life, autobiography, biography, a love story, a fantasy, a comedy, a cookbook, poetry, a children's book. I mean, there's so many niches out there, and what's great is people to this day are still reading, and I'm pro book, I'm pro reading, and I think it's very important to read, and and if you want to get your story out there, start writing. Grab your notebook, grab your pen, whatever comes to your mind, write about it. I've known somebody recently, just saw me the other day, and he's also writing, and I say, keep up the good work. Keep on doing it. Keep on writing. And that same advice was given to me by Richard Hell, which is one of the original punk rockers here in New York. He's also a poet, artist, musician, whatnot, and his books are also found on Amazon. And his poetry is really good. And met him a couple years ago, and his advice was keep on writing. So I took that advice, and although this book was published back in 2020, I still have more stories to tell, which is great. So, all right, let me get to it. Let me open my book too. Let's see, chapter 11, which is titled, the headline, Life as a Dominatrix. I think to myself, I wonder how many bare asses I've touched with my bare hands. How many people I've cussed out because they enjoyed being verbally humiliated? How many people have I had crawl at my feet, worshiping my feet? How many people have I peed on? How many people have I tied up? How many people have I made a difference in their lives? Or how many people have I uplifted and boosted their confidence, boosted their spirits? I want to think many. I have been doing this since 2001. It is currently 2019, and sometimes I think, is this real life? Then I say, why, yes, it is. Before I have the initial session with someone, I communicate the session with the person either by email or by phone. I have the person confirm with me the session that they will arrive. Then they travel to my studio and I get ready. So I gather my toys and my equipment, and I plan on using these particular devices on this particular scene. I wear my lovely outfit for the session and apply makeup. After I turn on the music, the mood lighting, the incense, and go over the session before the person arrives, I go over their interests, their limits, and I take a moment to myself, whether it is taking a deep breath and closing my eyes and meditating for a couple of minutes beforehand. The person enters and we discuss the session for 5 to 10 minutes before beginning. So once the session begins, then all of their insecurities and vanilla life just goes right out the door. Once you enter, you are my submissive, my slave, my fetishist, my bondage slut, or whatever else I desire. And at the end of the session, I clean the dungeon furniture and toys that I have used, and it is a long process just to prep for each session. I enjoy it. I enjoy this lifestyle. I enjoy what I do. I still cannot believe I've been doing this for so long. I accept that this is my life. I admit there are moments where I do feel burned out, especially when I session too much. So I get into the habit of having me time. So that involves treating myself to the salon, shopping trips, or just simply relaxing. Spending quality time with friends is very important as well. So over the years, I've turned away many sessions. I've learned over the years, although I've had many sessions, I can always turn away sessions. I have little patience for people who cannot read my rules, my interests, my limits, bargainers, and they contact me because my images are hot or gorgeous. Don't ever assume that I enjoy having my breasts exposed because I have big breasts. Or don't assume that I will see you when you're 20 years old, when it clearly states on my site that people must be 21 and over to see me. And don't assume that I will permanently harm you. Nope, that's not going to happen. So remember, safe, sane, and consensual. So negotiate a scene, communicate your scene beforehand. So that was the first 2 pages. And to this day, I still turn away some certain sessions that I just will not offer, or if the chemistry between the particular individual and I are not there, then I'm not going to see the person. I think chemistry is very important, and there was one person where I turned away recently because in the email he kept kind of demanding. It's like, no, I'm in charge. You don't demand me. Sure, I get it. You're into A, B, and C, and D, and E, and F, and yada, yada, yada. But If you're going to demand, if you're going to have that certain tone, then we're not going to vibe together. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to see you. So I have my certain rules and limits, and I think it's important that everybody has their rules and limits. And yeah, so here's a tip for the ladies. So this is in chapter 9 in my book. So ladies, I will be happy to give you some tips, 30 tips in particular. I think I might have given these tips in the past, but I am always happy to give tips to the ladies out there. Number 1, do your research first. Research different fetishes, read books, view videos, watch tutorials. Always educate yourself. Number 2, make sure a potential slave has a reference or two. If they're newbies, and that's okay. And if they have a reference, and that's great as well. I know some dominatrixes where the slave must have a reference. And for me personally, I'm open to seeing a newbie or an experienced submissive. That's just my opinion. But okay, that's number 2. Number 3, asking for a deposit for a new slave is the norm nowadays. So it's your decision if you want to go this route. And if the person refuses to send a deposit, then go with your gut about seeing the person. Let's see. Number 4, if someone gives you a weird vibe, don't even bother with the person. A weird vibe. So, I mean, yeah, some people are weird. You know, it's what is it? They might give you a weird vibe, meaning, I don't know. What's a good example? You might have a different definition of a weird vibe. I have my certain definition of a weird vibe. So if like I said earlier, if the person and I just don't click, then I won't see the person. But you gotta click. You gotta have chemistry with the person. And if the person asks for A, B, and C, and you're like, I will never do that, then my suggestion is don't see the person. So, okay, number 5, if someone calls you about booking a session, keep your calls at 5 to 7 minutes. So if you hear a person that says on the phone, what are you going to do to me in a session? That's a sign that they're full of it. So that's like an example of phone domination. So, ladies, there are websites out there where you can offer phone domination, and you could choose not to see the person face to face. So if the person wants to have a phone domination session, then you could arrange that with the person. But somebody might say on the phone, what are you going to do to me? Ooh, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Well, you're going to find out in person. So, all right. Number 6, if you receive a phone call or email from the person, let's see, look them up and see if they're on the naughty list or any kind of blacklist. So, yeah, that's another option. So you don't want to be on a naughty list out there, slaves. So you want to be on your best behavior and be respectable and be kind and be yourself and not get yourself on a blacklist. So an example of getting yourself on a blacklist would be to, let's see, for example, what comes off the top of my head, booking a session with a dominatrix and never showing up. That's not cool. I mean, you want to give your reason why, like, for instance, sure, things come up. Um, things come up. Just things come up. Life comes up, work, family, whatnot. But you want to give notice. You want to call the dominatrix and say, hey, something came up. I can't make it. So that would be, that would be good to do. So that would not make you on the blacklist. Okay, number 7, advertise. Advertise using accurate and current images of yourself. I've heard all sorts of stories from my slaves. They said, I saw someone in the past and she looked like a totally different person in person from her images. So making sure you have a photographer taking current photos of yourself and accurate photos, and sure, filters are nice and all, but you want to make sure that photos are current. That's just my advice. And I've known some people where they have their photos and they're from like 10, 15 years ago. And I think it's good to update your photos, and that's just my advice. Number 8, treat everyone with respect. Let's see, be friendly with other dominatrixes in your city. Having a good reputation is truly important. Number 9, if you're not skilled and have no knowledge about performing shibari bondage on a slave, then don't advertise that you will offer shibari bondage. So shibari bondage, that takes a lot of training, and there are shibari artists out there that specialize in doing that only. So if you advertise you'll do that and you don't know what you're doing, then why are you advertising that you're going to do that? You want to know what you're doing. That's very important. Number 10, be unique. Set yourself apart from the other ladies. Make yourself stand out. I would not recommend copying someone else's look or name or what they posted on their website word for word. So in the past, somebody actually did that. She copied my site word for word back in Chicago, like over 10 years ago. So I was like, wow, dude. Really? Not cool. So, and I would also, this is also number 11. Don't say you are the best mistress in your city. That comes off as tacky. Number 12, don't brag to the other ladies. So, for instance, you don't want to say, well, I made $2,000 for the week. And then my slave, he bought me Louboutin high heels. And then my other slave, he'll be flying me to France. The eyes will roll. The trash talks will happen behind your back. So keep your financial information to yourself. Number 13, buy quality toys, quality equipment, and wardrobe. So, nothing cheap. I do not recommend buying something that's cheap that'll break automatically when you buy a cheap paddle and you spank somebody for 2 minutes and it breaks. That's cheap quality right there. So good quality is very important. So, let's see. Number 14, don't judge a person by their fetish. For example, yuck, why are you into foot worship? You're a weirdo. See, don't be judgy. Foot worship is fun. It's common. For me, it's relaxing. It's soothing. I love having my feet pampered. Just my opinion, but some people, no way, can't touch their feet. Very ticklish. It's a hard limit. So mention on your website you're not into that. Let's see, number 15. Don't demand a tip from your slave. It makes you look desperate. Number 16. Give your slave a code word to use during a session. And number 17. Discuss your personal protocol. Make sure your slave understands what your limits are and what you're into. So you could, advertise that on your website. Number 18, don't see someone who is under the influence of any type of substance. There was somebody, this just brought back a memory where, let me see, this was back in, I want to say Brooklyn. Yeah, this was in Brooklyn, pre-pandemic, where the person was unusually sniffing, just sniffing. And then he said, "Do you like to party?" And I'm thinking, what the hell does that mean? I thought, yeah, I like to go to parties. Yeah. And then I was curious, why are you sniffing? And then he showed me a bag, a white little bag. I said, okay, we're ending this. You're out of here. That's it. Out. I couldn't believe it. And now I know what the code party means. I'm just not a partier of that type of lifestyle, nor will I ever understand that lifestyle. But doing that in a session or drinking alcohol is a big no-no in a session. That's my opinion. So let me get to number 19. Keep a first aid kit, a fire extinguisher, a Sharpie kit, especially for those who are interested in needle play, cleaning supplies, puppy pads, rubber gloves in your space. So those are all very important as well. So being nicely stocked. And you could buy all kinds of medical equipment on Amazon. It's amazing. And it comes in bulk too, which is, I think it's a better deal in my opinion. Number 20, if your girlfriend, who also happens to be a dominatrix, asks you to join in the session, don't ask the slave, "What's your phone number?" It will seem as if you're stealing your girlfriend's slave, and that's not cool. And this actually happened to me back in Chicago, where I don't know how this happened, but the slave fell in love with my girlfriend, and she was basically, I was training her. She wanted to become a dominatrix, and just her look and her presence and her aura, he just fell in love with her. And they exchanged phone numbers, I think behind my back, or maybe I was in the bathroom or whatnot. And and then he told me about it. And he said, I can't get a hold of her. What happened to her? Da 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 da. I said, well, how did you get her information? And he was just really, yeah. This was so long ago. And what's unfortunate is I found out a couple years ago he passed away from old age, and it was really sad because he was a lot of fun to play with and to get to know, and so, and it was sad, but it's not cool to do things behind your girlfriend's back, let's just say that. Number 21, if you want to be trained by a dominatrix in your city, don't explain. She will train you for free. Ask what her requirements are. Do not appear to be desperate for money. When I train other women, the first question that comes out of my mouth is, why do you want to be a dominatrix? And all the time, the first answer is, because I need the money. Sometimes I hear, because I want to kick ass, and I'm good at it. Yeah, and there was somebody back in Chicago where she asked me, no, I asked her, that was the first question, why do you want to become a dominatrix? This was an interesting answer that I got from her right away. She said, because I hate men. I was flabbergasted. I couldn't even talk to her, and I didn't want to deal with this person. Like, nope. Being a dominatrix doesn't mean you hate men. That's a no-no. And can't remember who this person was. This was so long ago. And I was just totally like, what the fuck? No, I'm not going to deal with you. Yeah, this was so long ago. That's not the reason why you should be a dominatrix. Or if you're desperate for money. No. And also, there was another person who, she wanted to be a dominatrix, but she wanted to quit her day job. And I said, nope, you have a good job. That was my opinion to her. I gave her advice. I said, you have a great job. You have insurance, benefits. You have a great job. Why do you want to quit? Why do you want to throw that all away? So she ended up being a dominatrix on the side and kept her day job, which is good. Good for her. So, number 22. Don't expect to make a lot of money. Some dominatrixes, or some people that want to be a dominatrix, all they want to do is make money, lots of money. It's like, do you enjoy what you're doing, though? That's very important. And it's not a scheme. It's not a make money scheme. It's not, it takes a lot of work, and some people, they brag about it, which I don't understand. And then they call themselves findoms. It's like, oh, okay, you're a findom. Okay, now you're showing off all your money. Okay, good for you. To each its own. And that's a fetish in financial domination for some people. But yeah, that's number 22. Don't expect to make a lot of money. Number 23, this is crucial. Practice safe, sane, and consensual when playing. I always preach this. Safe, sane, and consensual. So practice safely. Make sure you're playing safely. Make sure you're sane. Make sure you're not on any type of substance. And make sure everything is consensual. No means no. So no means no. Like if a dominatrix says, no, I'm not going to do that, then respect her limit. Or when a slave says no, or mercy, or red, or banana, when they say their code word, then stop. Don't do it. So practice safe, sane, and consensual. Number 24, accept criticism, accept advice. If you have rude comments, brush it off. If you have a person who has pissed you off in any possible way, then block the person. Let's see. So criticism is good. The other day I just got some criticism about my new poetry book, about some random person saying, what did this person say? He said, oh, I should have designed your cover. Oh, I could have made it a lot better. Well, who are you? Do you work for a design service? I didn't respond, but that was their criticism. That was their, um, uh, that's what they had to say. Personally, I like the cover. It's, the poetry book is also on Amazon. Peace, Love, and Chaos, a woman's emotional roller coaster. Uh, my first poetry book, and yeah, I accepted the criticism, his advice. But will I take his advice? No. I'm not going to take the advice because the cover's already done. So, all right, number 25, if you ever get a person harassing you in person or email, then block them or threaten them with legal action. So the worst case scenario. If this gets worse, then go to the police and report the perpetrator. So, back in 2022, I got this email. Very, very mean email from this person. And I saw this person years ago, and just randomly out of the blue in 2022, just the nastiest email from this person. I'm like, wow, this person is very angry with me for some strange reason. And this person was in Chicago, and I was curious to look him up actually a week ago, and I found out that he had passed away. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy, and that's sad, but I didn't have to deal with, negative email. I never, wrote the person back, or I just blocked the person for a very nasty email. And why would you send a nasty email out of the blue? That was just so bizarre. So if you also, my advice, don't harass people. Leave them be. Don't pester them. Don't stalk them. Don't send nasty emails. That's not cool. Yeah, so that's number 25. I have 5 more to go. Number 26, if I would recommend hosting sessions at a safe place, your place of choice. Number 27, do not engage in any illegal activities. Know the laws in your city and town. Some people will ask for a blackmail scene, and actually blackmailing is a fetish. And believe it or not, blackmail is illegal. So that's a big no-no. So number 28, if your client or slave recently had surgery on his knees, don't make him kneel. Or if he recently had surgery on his shoulders, don't tie his arms up or behind him. This can be very discomforting and not safe for his body. Number 29, don't use mind-altering substances. Poppers are usually sold in sex stores. Do not let your slave use poppers. Poppers are very popular in the gay community. And just recently, somebody asked me about poppers, what my thoughts were about poppers. I've personally tried poppers once or twice, and each time it just gave me this headache, just sharp headache. And it's supposed to enhance your sexual experience and whatnot. But for the gay community, they use poppers because anal sex, it relaxes the muscles, and just relaxes them to do what they want to do before having a good time. And I don't recommend poppers, in my opinion. So number 30, a warm-up is necessary. So if your slave is interested in receiving spankings, do not spank your slave with a hard paddle immediately while using your full force. So use a soft flogger first to get the blood flowing, then increase the force of the flogger, and even ask your spanking bottom. More? Harder? Less? Even after a harsh discipline scene, provide aftercare. So aftercare can involve a hug or even talking to your slave. Aftercare, so aftercare is important, I think, and aftercare is, discussing the scene and discussing how they feel, having the person sit down after the session, making sure the person is okay, giving a glass of water. And sometimes it could be very emotional for the slave, and that's common, and that's okay. And also in my book, still in chapter 9, I give all these tips, 30 tips for the slaves. And then I talk about the ABCs of fetish. I discuss also different stories. I discuss stories about my parties from the past. Let's see, I discuss my performances that I had in the past. What else? My videos that I've done. There's a lot in the book, and it's great to share stories about personal experiences. And I did have my diary in there, my journal, and in chapter 15, and I started writing this journal back in 2003, and I was discussing sessions from back in 2003. That's also in chapter 15. Let's see here. So I encourage you all to write, and I think it's very important. If you have a story, if you're aspiring writer or beginner, or you just want to write, then write, do it. I think it's great to write. I'm still writing to this day. I always write. I think it's very very relaxing and very gets my mind flowing, and it's very therapeutic. That's the word I was looking for. To write. So I hope you all enjoyed this little topic of life as a dominatrix. And also in the book I discuss misconceptions about a dominatrix. There's so many misconceptions out there to this day, which is mind-boggling, So in my book, I can't remember what chapter I put my book down, but I discuss the misconceptions. Some examples that come off the top of my head is that dominatrixes wear fetish gear all the time, and that's not true. Or a dominatrix is mean all the time. That's not true. Or a dominatrix hates you. That's not true. Or a dominatrix is a dominatrix 24/7. That's not true. So I discuss misconceptions, and yeah. I was just rambling there. So this has been a great topic to discuss about life as a dominatrix, and this is 2025, and just the other day, Slave asked when I started doing this, and I, said 2001, and to this day, I remember my first sessions and how nervous I was, and you never forget your first. You never forget your first. So some people, I'm the first dominatrix they've ever seen, and then they've seen other dominatrixes, and they'll never forget it. They'll never forget the session, and and I think that's great that I'm the first for them. But yeah, thinking about 2001, like what was life as a dominatrix back then, back in Chicago, was very taboo, very underground. There were only a couple of us, at least 5 of us, at least, and I could count a couple dungeons as well, and I could remember the dungeons that I would frequently attend to this day. I could remember that. I remembered how I felt. I remember the sounds that I would hear in the dungeon, the whips, the spankings, the people moaning, the people yelping after they got a whipping. I could remember the couple that trained me when I met them, and yeah, it's good to have that memory. And that was 24 years ago, which is mind-boggling to me. So, but life is a dominatrix now. There are plenty of dominatrixes out there in different cities, which is great. And everybody, all the dominatrixes, they're not the same. We all have a niche. We are all different in our own way. Some might only wear latex, or some might only wear leather, or some might only wear lingerie or business casual outfits and whatnot. So it's all a mindset, and it's all female supremacy, and it's important to enjoy what you do. And it's important to know what you're doing. It's important to be trained to it's important to have a mentor. That's what I'm trying to say. Important to have a mentor, go through training, educating yourself, knowing what you're doing, and not doing it for the wrong reasons, like, I need to make money ASAP, or, oh, I can't stand men. Ugh, I just want to beat them all the time. That's not the reason why you should be a dominatrix, in my opinion. It's only my opinions. So you want to do it from the heart. It comes from the heart. And you don't want to copy somebody's website word from word. You want to create it on your own, or hire a designer. Get yourself out there, market yourself. And in my book, I also talk about marketing yourself, and marketing yourself, being your authentic self, having fun. And it's also, for me personally, it's very euphoric, doing what I do. Makes me happy. And to this day, I've talked about this in previous podcasts, I do get questions asking, do you enjoy what I do? And the answer is yes. But it's important to take some time off and take some me time and spend time for myself and self-care, self-love. And then I do what I do, and it's very enjoyable and therapeutic for me. And when the chemistry is there with slaves and I, then it's a win-win, in my opinion. So chemistry is very important, and playing safely, sanely, and consensually is very important as well. So this concludes this episode 75 of Xena Life is a Dominatrix. Life is a Dominatrix. So thank you all very much for tuning in. Have a wonderful day.